Hey Outbounds, it's Elise. I'm one of the producers on this channel. My other influencer and producer, Maddie, will be doing her own video for now. We've been trying to like figure out some tech stuff about interviewing people on the computer, and I did a test interview with Maddie and nothing recorded. So for now I'm gonna upload mine, and then Maddie at her leisure will do hers, and then we'll figure out how to interview people, because we've been having a lot of tech problems, which is why this channel has been sitting empty. So I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, Outbound Rebound CTFL is about recovery stories of whether you were like mental health, domestic violence, drugs, even unhealthy lifestyles, stuff like that. So I'm gonna be doing mine today as like an example. Like for me, like I had a lot of mental health struggles growing up, and I went through a lot with my so-called family, my relatives, that really almost did me in, and I will be sharing that. Thank you guys for watching. Let me just get this set up. So I am a mental health recovery gal. Growing up, my parents never acknowledged mental health at all, and it was just, you're fine, you have good parents, and basically holding over my head that, you know, they took care of me and stuff like that. Now, I was the baby of 3 siblings. My siblings are 10 and 14 years older than me. I lived at home till I was about 28, 29-ish. They would actually like cry if I said I was gonna move out, but the way I had to move out was pretty messed up. So growing up, I knew I was different, and you know, like teachers would say I was smart, but I can't sit still, or I just need to try harder. Come to find out, like a year ago, I find out I have autism and ADHD. I am 30 years old. So I am in recovery for like things that benefit me. I also just did everything of what people told, you know, like I liked being in the marching band and the concert band and everything like that, but my parents kind of pushed me to be a musician in a way. So I went to college, got a music degree, was still very undiagnosed mental health. So, you know, I got out of school pretty okay. Like I never really failed a class or anything like that. And then college, I got my bachelor's of music. It was grad school where I got kicked out for doing social media because they were stalking my YouTube, and none of my peers stood up for me, and there was an ultimatum of you either rat out all your peers for having music and all this other stuff on the internet, or you just take it and you get kicked out. So I took the latter and did not narc on anybody. But come to find out, weeks later, those videos I had, they showed them to all my peers. But none of them recorded it, and none of them are willing to go to court. So I just took that as an L. So that, besides growing up with just very helicopter-y parents of where are you, when are you coming home, and I know that sounds crazy, but I'd be out in my 20s and they're calling me, screaming at me to come home, you know, and I'd be at an event. I used to volunteer and cosplay with kids, you know, stuff like that. So that was like my early 20s when I was in college, but my first major PTSD thing was definitely when I was in grad school, because everything that I knew and loved was like gone and betrayed. Basically all my peers that I thought were laughing with me were laughing at me, because I really only have 1 or 2 friends left from college because of the whole thing. The messed up part is one of the guys in my grad program does a podcast with my brother-in-law, and he talked to him about it, so that's kind of fucked up, Dan. Anyway, so that was my first major thing, and I always had 2 or 3 jobs going to school because my parents could not afford to just pay for me, right? So I was a work study, I did my Target thing, and then when I was like in grad school, I was doing those 2 jobs and interning during the day and going to school at night, right? And that was when I had my first real mental break. Like, I like had a big mental breakdown and cried, and I didn't go to a hospital or anything, but beside from like my parents just being all over me and telling me what to do all the time, that was my big break. So I believe the trauma from that alone had affected my confidence up until this point. Now I just changed my whole mindset, and I don't think like that anymore, that I gotta please people, because I remember my mom was pushing me to get me into another school and like, you'll get through this and da da da, and it's like I realized then I didn't want to be a teacher anymore, and the only reason I was a teacher was because my mom wanted me to do it. She was a teacher, and it's like an honorable thing, right? So years after that, I've just worked general retail or management or pharmacy. So, but that was my big PTSD moment. Definitely a big one for me. Sorry, needed a smoke break. So now I'm gonna talk about the more modern stuff in my life, I guess. So about 2 years ago, my folks started getting sick. Actually, wait, let's go back 2020. My mom was losing her memory and stuff during COVID. I was working in a pharmacy, and it's like we all knew she had Alzheimer's and dementia, and she fought and fought and fought and would just lie to the doctor. Could not get her in. So that was a really hard thing for me. But then when my dad got admitted after his kidney episode, where he almost died because his kidneys were failing, she would forget he's in rehab, and she'd call me like, where's dad, or like, where are you, like a lot of stuff that I was dealing with besides working in a garbage pharmacy, being treated like shit, right? And I took care of that stuff for almost 5 years without much help from my siblings, who are much older and much more equipped to handle that. And then after my dad went to the psych ward the second time, my mom lost the babysitting job, and basically we were gonna lose the house that I grew up in since I was 7. So then she'd be calling me, where is he? And then basically way after that, his psychosis was getting so bad about his medical bills, because that's like the one thing he worries about, his bills. And he'd be like, oh, the feds are after me, don't park in front of the house, don't be out too late, you know, like all these. He was very delusional, and I had to make the choice to either go live with my aunt and kind of just tell them I'm safe and I'll come visit, but you can't tell me where I am, or stay there, because none of my siblings were helping me. So I had to make the rough choice and go live with my aunt for a while, but then that kind of went sour, and that's eventually when I lived in like the trap house and stuff. Did that for like 7 months, like a lot of drugs, strangers in the house. It was rough, but then I moved out here with a family member, and then I moved into this house with my fiancés. I have 2 because I'm poly. So I have a lot of trauma from when I put space in between my siblings because they were impeding on my boundaries and I couldn't heal. And they would like make fun of me for it, and oh, we're paying the mortgage because you can't get your shit together. And I'm like, excuse me, I was paying their bills. They won't tell you that because they're proud people and I'd give them cash, right? So eventually, after I got like into New Haven, Connecticut, where I was living for about 7 months, I had to cut off my entire family and block everyone because they were so toxic. Now come to find out, about 1.5 years later, my biggest breaking point was when I went to the nursing home with my best friend to see my dad because he couldn't take care of himself. After the second psych stay, he fell and shattered his femur at the hospital. I'm sure they're sitting on lawsuit money and they're just not going to give it to me. I just wanted my dad to be taken care of, so I'm not really asking for it. But he passed away about a week before I could visit him, and we all had an agreement that if someone passes away, you do have to find a way to contact me. And I set it up as one sister is not blocked. I just won't text her. So nobody told me. I went to the nursing home, got him a milkshake. I was with my friend Emily at the time. And they're like, oh, he passed. And I literally almost blacked out. No closure, no way to say goodbye to my dad. And like, we had a lot of stuff to talk about. And we were about like, hey, I'm sorry I had to leave like this, Dad, to get better. And I feel awful about the whole thing. But I had to learn it's not my fault they got sick. But now I'm without my dad and my mom's in a home. So I have to keep track at the nursing home and go visit her and call them myself to get any health updates because they refuse to do so. The day I found out my dad passed, I took my friend Emily. We went to my sister's door and we banged on the door, asking them to talk, would not come out. I did start screaming into the Ring camera and stuff like that. You know, then they called the cops on me. My friend, she accidentally left her pocket knife in her bra. So then she got handcuffed. And we're all sitting on the ground like, what the fuck do we do? I mean, I wasn't cuffed, but I wasn't gonna like just not sit next to her. Like, that's crazy. And it eventually led to, they answered the door and said, oh, she's just emotional and estranged because our dad passed away and da. So we were able to walk free, but that was a big PTSD thing and I was crying every day. And this was like when I was doing DoorDash for a living, if I'm not mistaken, because I had lost the dispensary job that I used to have that paid really well. So after that, my doctor and my therapist agreed I needed to go to some sort of outpatient program because I said I'm not going to the psych ward on the first try. My father went twice and it made him worse. I'm not doing it. I'm not ready for that, right? So I went to a really nice IOP out in Waterbury, Connecticut at Waterbury Hospital, which is actually where I met my girl and some other friends of mine there. And I had to learn how to heal and de-escalate my emotions and live for me. Now, I had been priorly diagnosed by a previous doctor with borderline personality disorder, but I didn't quite understand how to deal with it. And that comes from like trauma at a young age. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember, so it's hard to say from a younger age what could have caused it, but definitely like the humiliation from my peers and all this other stuff really affected my personality. And it made me like always a worrywart. Oh, they're talking shit about me. Oh, what are they doing? Like really toxic. And then even like spouses too. And I would be like merging my identities with the people I date and they'd be like terrible for me. Like I dated a guy for 3 years who really, I mommied him to death more than anything else. I was the bank account, I was the driver, you know, like, and in ways I still miss that because it was the longest relationship I had, but I was crashing out pretty bad. But once I got through IOP, I got back on therapy. They changed my meds completely because of my diagnoses. So I have autism, ADHD, and borderline, right? And basically, like, when you're not acknowledged as a kid too, it could definitely push you towards borderline personality disorder. And I definitely felt like I was seen more than heard. I got on the right medication. Like, I'm on Vyvanse now. I'm on an actual ADHD med that works. Strattera did nothing for me. You know, I'm on my other anxiety and antidepressants and stuff like that, but I'm doing a lot better now. But basically, I had to go through a lot of trauma with that as an adult, of being poked and laughed at, not taken seriously, and then shunned by my entire family. But now I'm completely okay with it. Like, if I see them on the street, I'm just gonna be like, ew. I used to get really upset about it, or like, I'm gonna beat their ass, or this and this and that, and I'm not gonna do that anymore. Because I got the closure I needed. Ow, sorry, I bumped the camera. When I went to my sister's house and she wouldn't even talk to me through the door. And her own kids were asking why they wouldn't let them open the door for me because I'm the aunt. those kids grew up with me. I babysat them every holiday, every birthday, overspending for Christmas, you know, like we were all a very close-knit family until then. Which is something that when you don't have a family, all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck, right? Like you don't know what to do. Because I basically lost my parents and my entire family all at the same time. They really just got mad I didn't want to be a power of attorney. And I was like, listen to me, I was a power of attorney when Dad was sick. I don't want to do it again. And you guys are more equipped to deal with this situation than I am. And that's why they hate me. But I'm doing a lot better now. I'm like engaged, I'm in a poly relationship, and I really just focus on myself. Because most of my life, because my parents were older growing up, I was taking care of them for a good part of 10 years. And that's like what some people don't understand. You know, like, oh, like you just get to live at home rent free and mom and dad cook for you. No, it was a lot deeper than that. Helping with bills, helping them when they argue, my mom's memory stuff, and the fucked up part is we can't tell my mom my dad is dead, so when I visit I have to pretend he's still alive. But it's not up to me because I'm not the caretaker, and I'm not going to do that because it's going to disturb the dementia thing, and then there's going to be times she remembers it and times she doesn't. She just thinks he's at work or that she's visiting where she lives right now. So we left it at that because I don't want her to lose her progress. I mean, she lost her ability to walk and move. Like one hand is completely unmovable and one works. But she's still talking and laughing, and I don't want to ruin that. It kind of sucks. So, sorry, smoke break. As a recovering mental health person, you are going to hit your rock bottom or your rockiest bottom before you really figure out what's important to you and what you need to do. I try not to dwell on the fact that most of my relatives are dead or won't talk to me, but I built my own family of like friends, and I have a couple relatives, like 2 that I still talk to, but no one else. Because when I told them about how no one told me my dad passed, they're like, that's fucked up. And they're like, and they knew, and I'm like, yep. And I had changed my phone number, made sure she had it, and she didn't text me. So I had to learn that that was not a reflection of me. It's usually the reflection of other people ganging up on you because they have insecurities. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I have my days I'm really depressed. I have my days I'm happy. I have my days where I wish I didn't wake up because it would just be easier to not exist, but I'm not in any terms like wanting to myself, basically. But for a while I did, but now I have like 8 cats that I love. I have my girl, I have my boy, you know, like we want to get married and have kids. And if you knew me years ago, you know, I'd be like, no, I wouldn't make a good mother because I have too much wrong with me. And it's like, now that I worked on these things and I can like see a future, it's promising. And that's something I think you should like consider if you were in this type of position like me. Like, I had to tell myself, it's not my fault my dad died. It's not my fault my mom and dad got sick. I grew up around a lot of death because a lot of my family members were way older. Because I was like an accident baby, like I'm 10-15 years later, dealt with a ton of death. And like in a way, you always felt responsible even though it wasn't even your fault. Like my great aunt getting cancer, my mom's cousin dying. My grandmother, actually I have her with me at all times, her sisters. But my grandma, she was the first one who passed away, and that kind of like started the downfall of each year of who got sick next and next, and I grew up in that. But now like I deal as like life is precious and we should just celebrate. Not move on completely, but at least celebrate what you have. I'm no means perfect by any means, but it's helped me. Now I don't have many pictures of my folks, but this was one. at my oldest sister's wedding. This is my dad. This is my mom. She's still with us. Dad, I talk to you every day, but I miss you like crazy. God, I miss his advice. And the things that, like, as you grow up, you're gonna miss those things or think of things they've talked about, and like, you're gonna be like, oh, I know exactly what they mean now. The toughest times I go through is when financial things or just crazy things hit the fan and I don't have someone who could bail me out anymore. Even emotionally, you know, like, oh, come over, we'll talk about it. Like, it's still hard. I don't mean to get this emotional, but I don't talk about it a lot. But as I say, try to be optimistic, live for you, and F anybody else who tries to ruin your quality of life. Like, I've had my own family deliberately try to make me homeless at least 3 times this year. And it just shows we grew up not to be like this and to support each other, and like literally they turned on me when they could. And that's something you can't anticipate, or, you know, oh, I saw this coming, or oh, they're gonna do that. Because if you live your life like that, then you'll miss out on human connections. So, you know, like, no matter how hard it is, live your best life. Live around people you cherish and love. Pets are great too. And just keep hoping, because I literally thought I was going to be living in my car with 3 cats, and now I have a stable place to live and I don't have to worry about being out after every X amount of months, and I got to be where I needed to be. So don't give up. But yeah, that's what I went through, and that's all the mental trauma and my background. Maddie's gonna make a video at some point, so look out for that, and I will see you guys in another video. We might make announcement videos in between to talk about interviews, because Maddie works at a rehab, so it would be a great platform for them. Again, my name is Elise, and thanks for watching. Bye.